Have you ever read something about being a people pleaser and then you think, not quite. Like, yes, you're polite, you try to keep things smooth, you're probably the one people rely on, you know how to manage a room, a mood, a mess, but inside there's friction, there's like this tension, there's that tight clenching energy that says, I don't actually want to be doing this. You might still say yes, but it's not a clean yes. It's a yes so you don't get mad, or yes because it's easier, or yes because I'm just so tired of explaining myself. You're not trying to please, but you're trying to avoid guilt, avoid the silent treatment, avoid the sigh, avoid being misunderstood, avoid the chaos that follows when you actually tell the truth. We talk a lot about people pleasing, but this isn't quite that. This isn't smiling through everything and hating yourself for it. This is strategic compliance. This is doing what's expected because you've learned what happens when you don't. Maybe you grew up in a house where saying no was dangerous, where anger was a trap, where boundaries got laughed at or punished. So you learned to play the part, to stay agreeable, to keep the temperature down. But the problem is you never got to stop. So now you're an adult and the costume is still on. You're starting to feel the weight of it in your body, in your relationships, in your choices. You're not living fake, but you're not living fully true either. And here's the thing. You don't fully fit the label of people pleaser, but you're definitely not living like someone who is free and autonomous. So what do we even call this? Like, is there a name for it? Because I have looked and I haven't found one that really lands. It's like we've all agreed that there's anxious attachment and secure attachment, or people pleasers and boundary setters, but no one talks about the people in this sort of middle cross section, the ones who know how to keep the peace but are secretly screaming into a pillow afterward, the ones who say no but it costs them something every single time they do it, the ones who aren't terrified of rejection but are exhausted by the ripple effect of being honest. That's who I'm talking to. It's that weird middle ground where you're not performing, but you're still not quite free, where the resentment is louder than the fear, but still not loud enough to get you to stop playing nice. So what do we call ourselves? Because recovering people pleaser doesn't hit. Assertiveness in progress, too clinical, compliant, rebel, getting closer, emotionally bilingual, maybe. We might need a new name entirely, but more important than that name is the truth. If you're living in that in-between, like between people-pleasing and actual peace, there's a way out, but it's not a quick fix. It's not about learning better boundary scripts or saying no with confidence. It starts earlier than that. It starts with where you learned that your anger was a threat, that your needs were too loud, and that it was safer to be agreeable than to be honest. And we'll get into all of that, but not right now. Right now, I just want you to know that if you've been feeling the tension of the in-between, you're not imagining it, and you are not the only one living there. Self-proclaimed.